Hello, welcome back to the channel. This is SimSteve. This is episode 6 of our playthrough of Flight Simulator 24 Career Mode. If you like my content, please like and subscribe. It really helps the channel and it doesn't cost you a penny. Let's dive into it. So here we are back at headquarters. This episode is going to be controversial, let's say. Basically, this episode is all about min-maxing of your private company when doing missions. So there's a couple things that we need to set up before we go too far. First off, we want to go to settings up here, and we want to go to controls, keyboard, and then in this search box here you want to type sim rate. So I've got these set up for square brackets. So what you want to do is you want to map sim rate increase and decrease. I use the square brackets because I don't think they were used for anything else, and they're kind of away from all the other buttons, so you can't hit the maximum. The other one you want to do is you want to do fuel. I can't type today. And scroll down, there's a lot of fuel options. When I can find it. So here we are, sorry about that. There's a slight issue finding out which button was the right button. So we had to load up and get into the right plane basically. So what you want to do is start your first mission. Make sure it says aircraft is the right one there. And then you want to type fuel. And then you want to map this repair and refuel. I've mapped it to tab R. Again, it's nice and out of the way, it's not something you'd hit by accident. And what that does, basically, is allows you to fill up your fuel. So 93% now, let's show you it. So I'm going to press tab and R. 5. I shouldn't have used tab because it brings up this. Oh well. What I will probably do is I'll change it to a different button. So fuel, I'll show you how to do this anyway. Actually, just type repair and refuel. As you can tell, my typing is great. So scanning, and then you want to press the buttons that you want to press. So I used it's probably got a name, that and R. So hopefully now the tablet won't come up. There you go. So I believe 95% is all we can actually put in, because I think that's the weight limit, because we are obviously doing cargo missions. So what we'll do is I'll show you the
Kilo
idea.
India Whiskey Delta
So
traffic.
basically what we do.
Cessna November 99487 is taxiing to runway 27. Kilo India Whiskey Delta traffic.
Now, it's your own plane, so I would strongly suggest taxiing this view. I know it's not as real, but it allows you to see something crazy is about to completely wipe your plane out. So what happens if you crash? You don't lose the plane, you just end up with a plane that needs a lot of repairs on it. And obviously we haven't purchased the insurance, but we've replaced the minimum. And we have only got like $5,000 left. So to prove what we want to do is we want to open the tablet, go into Flight Planner, click that button. Sometimes you have to click it twice to go back into the map view, recenter on yourself, and the key thing here, what we're going to do is we're going to hit play on this. So when you're messing around with sim rate, this will always count at the sim time. So let's just show you now. So I'm pressing increase, as you can see, 16, 18, 20, 22, as we're taxiing along here. So you can steer and sim rate, but it's extremely hard. You've got to be very delicate. So what you need to try and remember is how many times you've pressed it up and how many times you've pressed it down. So I pressed it up twice then. And as you can see, in the time that I've been talking, a minute's passed already. And we're down the bottom of the runway. So this is how you really maximise your time in doing missions. Because basically, the longer you're doing missions, the longer your missions take, should I say, the less money you earn. And the longer it takes to get up the levels. So we're just going to wait.
Kilo India Whiskey
And then let's
Delta
take off,
traffic.
so we can close this for
Cessna
now whilst we're doing
November
this.
99487.
The other thing we're going to do,
Taking off runway 27. Departure to the south. Kilo India Whiskey Delta traffic.
I'm going to set this to 2,000 feet. And then we're going to get ourselves onto the runway. Get lined up, put the flaps down, full throttle, just like normal, and we're going to start taking off. So, whilst we're speeding up now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click on the heading knob, and that sets it for the current heading, 273. We're going to pre-select the heading select mode here to on. Now we're off the air, we can flight level change on. Set it to, I believe 76 knots is actually what the book says that a Cessna should be for maximum rate climb, and then not quite long, and that is as much controlling as we will do until we come to land, which is nice. So that actually wants to be 1700, so this changes all the time, so I always set it to 2000 because then that'll get going. Then as we're going, I've actually put my controller down. Now that's how little we're going to do. So we'll get up to 7,000 feet. If you're like me and you're playing with keyboard, mouse and a controller, right click and dragging around your mouse does that. Because what we want to do, we're going to start moving our heading over that way. We're going to let our airspeed increase a bit. Now, the easiest way to say this is we don't care about fuel burn. So I don't mess around with, we want to go to 2,800. Bear with, 2,800. Flight level change. So it actually sets, every time you hit the button, it sets it to the speed you're doing. Which is nice, it doesn't suddenly yank back on the controls to get you back to 97, but that's fine. Ooh, we've still got our flaps down. Flaps up. I think my controller's nearby. So we are, you might be looking at that and thinking, Jesus, I hope he's not going to record this whole thing. And yeah, I am going to record this whole thing, but what you'll see is how quick we can go when we get sim rate involved. So I'm going to go one blob of sim rate up here whilst we're in a climb. So it's just a bit quicker than a second. That's 2 blobs now. So this is kind of like, whilst we're in a climb, when we know something might happen, we go 2 blobs up. And that's kind of like double speed, I would say. By that. 1, 2, 3, yeah, it's kind of double speed. So we're going to be in this until we get up to our cruising altitude. What I can do is I can wang that right back. Just to get us up there faster. Again, this is all about speed. I like to zoom out as well so we can see the whole track. There we go. What we want to do now, we want to reduce the throttle to about 90%. Well, if you're like me and you're playing on it with a mouse, exactly 90%. And then, that's 3, 4, and that's 5 blobs of sim rate now. So now you'll see, that's a minute. That's another minute, and we are absolutely rocketing. If you've got a better computer than me, you can do 6, you can even do 7. What you'll find is, top tips, should I say, never use nav mode. Always use heading mode, because nav mode kind of does a little rock to the left, rock to the right, rock to the left. What I can do. P is pause. I thought it crashed then. So what we'll do is we'll reduce it down a bit. This is real time now. So let's go back into nav mode. Let's get that way. Let's just bear with me. 2 bombs there. Let's get us onto the nav blocks. And it's way over from where we want to be, but I'll show you why we don't use nav mode. Nav mode. So I think we're probably 1 above where we should be. Yeah, so we're 1 above real speed. So we're not exactly in the box. Let's see. Zoom in a bit. You can see the boxes. So we're kind of roughly in the middle there. And what we'll do is we'll go 3 blobs up. Start to get a bit janky. 4 blobs up. But it's not doing it today. So that's a lot, isn't it? Yeah, sad slot. Okay, use nav mode in the Cessna. It might be on the other planes where it struggles. So basically what happens is it gets to the edge of the box, tries to go right. So it goes to the left hand side of the box, obviously tries to go right to get you back in the middle. And then just keeps overcorrecting and ends up like going left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. And like the plane obviously doesn't like that. So basically, yeah, I only ever use heading mode. Oh god. Check which way your heading's going before you hit heading mode. So just set it towards that. I'm at 5 now. Yeah, 6. You can tell when it starts to get a bit hickety-dickety because it's like everything just starts to get a bit jittery. As you get into the later planes, like the Vision Jet and the Blatters later on, when you get up to like 20-30,000 feet, the actual, I don't believe it loads much of the ground, so you can actually go even faster. That's kind of as fast as my computer will manage. But you can see now how quickly we're getting along, and we're already 40 minutes into the alleged flight. But we are only judging by 11 minutes from takeoff. Oh sorry, 11 minutes from when I hit this go on this video. So there's definitely massive savings to be had. It also means that these really long flights go quite quickly. So you can just keep, as you can see, we're well over halfway already. This was advertised as I think an hour and a half it said when we started. Other thing you can do whilst we're on our way, the approach procedures. They always pick the worst one. I don't know why. Also make sure you're not veering, of course. So you can do this. Go to your approach procedures, change, and the yellow line is what you want, what you're trying to select. Direct. That looks right. Change procedure. And ATC and avionics. Now the procedure. We're getting a bit janky. Let's just get off on. So now the procedure is literally fly to base, final, in, instead of coming up and over around. Doesn't actually matter if you wanted to do the other procedure anyway. You don't have to file it and everything. It's just a good habit to get into for later on when you're doing like the IFR rather than the VFR instrument rather than the visual. Where are we headed? Heading all wrong here. Too busy talking to you and not concentrating on what I'm doing. Also, the blue lines are shocking. Let's take them off now. Oh. The blue lines also mean that you can see where you're going. So we'll leave them on for now. So yeah, basically the whole point of this is getting to where we want to be as fast as possible to make as much money as possible in your, if like me you don't get much gaming time, you want to make the most of it whilst you can. So we're shooting for about 110 knots, 115 knots, 2,600 RPM. We're obviously above the fuel gauge, but it doesn't really matter. We've got lots of fuel, and I'll show you a trick in a second. So we're approaching base. So what we'll do is we will start our descent. Go down to 1,000 feet. By level change. We can actually increase the speed. And then reduce the throttle. So I've started slowing the sim rate down now. What I like to do when I get pretty much to the airport is take it right back, because I have no idea how many times I've hit the button right now. That's too slow. 1 second, 2 second, 3 second. Yeah, like you do at school. So that's real time. So now we can go 2 up, and then when we get to base, we're coming in way hot. Time still. I'll take over. So yeah, basically that's what, an hour and a half in 15 minutes.
82 Charlie traffic. Cessna November
Again, put the
Niner
flaps
Niner
down.
487. 2
Standard
miles
stuff
north.
now.
1400. Inbound to land. Runway 14. 82 Charlie traffic.
So now we're done with that. One last check to check we are on time. That's right. So we close that now. Turning final. Announce final. And there's our runway.
82 Charlie traffic. Cessna November Niner 487 is on final. Runway 14. To land. 82 Charlie traffic.
Last thing to check is that you're actually on runway 14. Sometimes the pink markers and the blue markers actually take you to the wrong way, and you'll land the wrong way down the runway. Runway. Oh, a bit high. Had a bit of flaps, coming down a bit hard. Luckily, it's a nice long runway. Oh, it was a bit bumpy. Don't want to scrub too much speed again, because it's all about speed. Coast our way down to the hold shot. Oh, we might have overcooked this, but we managed it. It's fine. And that's it, basically. Sim rate is your friend. Top of the hold, so following the procedures.
82 Charlie traffic. Cessna November Niner 487 is taxiing to...
So, welcome back. Sorry about that, OBS crashed on me, so I'm now here for a second time. I messed up the landing slightly, so we've got a negative for speeding, for taxiing, and going off the runway, because I went off the runway. I tried to make the first exit and carried way too much speed in it. So let's see if this actually lands. So as you'll see, we've got 63% fuel, which is way more than we needed in the first place. So I'll be next to set the parking brake. And before we shut down, we want to hit our repair and refuel to get it back up to, see it's jumped up to 95%. And I will explain why momentarily. So that should be our first mission. Not a great one. It's still an A. It's above an A, that's all that matters. As long as we can stick in the A category, we get a 10% buff in pay. So, as you can see, 120,000 credits. That's, I mean, the reputation bonus alone is what we would have made off that flight if we were without a plane. So we're edging our way up. So we get a 15% this and a 10% bonus for each mission for being A. So, now we've done our first mission. What we want to do, now we have some money, is we want to manage the company, manage the aircraft, and we want to update the check sheet for 3,000, and then we want to do all the maintenance. Maintain that, maintain that, maintain that, and maintain that. So all the oranges are maintained. Everything else is good. So that's that. So we've spent the money, we've come back in here. So the next thing would be to start our next mission. So we look for one that's close by. So we've got two nice and close. So we've got one, clicked it by accident, one at 65 and one at 72. I'm going to go for the 72 obviously, because that's the one where we get. So you have to pay a transfer cost, 380. So we'll accept that. We'll move the plane. And then this is why we were refueling. So what happens is you go to manage aircraft, fuel and payload, manage fuel. But this all the way back around. Want a bit of fuel? I'll explain mine in a second. And that gains you an extra 3,900 credits. I know it's not a lot, but if you're doing 10, 15 missions to get yourself back up to the next plane, then it's a lot mint. So what you basically want to do, guys, is you want to just bomb your way through the start procedure. Once you've done this a few times, it'll get a lot quicker. So get in the door. Do our startup procedure. You'll notice our fuel is at 1%. Waiting for her to finish talking.
Urgent shipment for our client site. Expected in no time at Oconto Town. Skids are designed to withstand turbulence, but keep a steady flight speed and adjust accordingly. A timely and secure delivery will ensure that everyone is satisfied.
Oh, they talk a lot.
Have all the pertinent information in your flight packet as a reminder. Smooth sailing ahead.
So as you remember, we emptied the fuel tank before we started this mission, so we are at 1%. The trick then is to use your mapping, that is repair and refuel. Press it a few times, and magically we've got 95% fuel. And that's basically the way that you get the fuel back. So if you remember, we sold it for like 3,000, and now we've refueled magically for free. So again, not to everybody's taste. I get it's controversial. But that's kind of how we get through the grind. So what I'll do is I will cut this mission now, and you can join us once I've finished, and I will explain what our next steps are. See you in a bit. So, welcome back guys, we're back in the headquarters. So I did that mission on using the techniques that I've said previously. That mission, according to the tablet, should have been about an hour, and it took me about 10 minutes. So just to kind of show the ability of the grind. So basically what that means is yeah, it's about 10 times quicker. So you can get 10 times as many missions done. What I want to talk to you next is where we're going to go next, basically. So we've kind of peaked to an extent for the minute. So what we need to look at doing is more certifications and more specializations. So what we can do is in our cargo companies, so if we go into all companies, we can manage the company, or we can buy aircraft. So in the used aircraft, I'm not sure if it shows. Yeah, it does. So you can get the Grand Caravan, which is the next step up from the baby Cessna to the big Cessna. You can also get... Oh no, there isn't any Pilatus yet. The PC-12 Pilatus is what you really want for cargo. I think you can only buy that new. Yeah, there is. So 7.2 million. So that kind of says how much of a grind it's going to be to get from where we are to that. So what we'll probably do is there's a step to do in between. Obviously you don't want to go straight from a Cessna into that. So what we'll do next is we will create... Actually there's no point, because what we need to do is get our specialization. We want to get into the chartered flights. And then basically what we want to get is we want to get the Vision Jet. So in order to get our charter service, we need our instrument rating, and then we need one more mission at airplane with the landing smoothness of 50%. So what we can do is we can go and get our instrument rating. So let's just quickly do this.
I know that this weather can look daunting, but you will be able to perform your approach by relying on your aircraft's instruments, just like you did in your training.
What I always do is I always just take the autopilot. Altitude hold mode. So we want to descend to 2100.
Cessna November 487. Inbound RNAV runway 27 approach.
Full power.
Cleared RNAV runway 27 approach. Cessna 487.
Descend. Just gonna keep following the sat nav. Ha, said sat nav again. Autopilot. I wouldn't call it cheating, I'd call it using the tools that we have available to us. A bit quicker. Yeah, a bit closer. We're going to just hit nav mode. Make sure we don't slow down too much. As you can probably tell, I like to do everything at full throttle, fast. Also, little trick, you can still use our sim rate. Just to speed things along. So I can use sim rate. I'm using 2 blobs right now. Just try and speed us along a bit, because this bit's boring. We are set up with the localizer by the looks of it. If you haven't done the instructional videos on
visual flight rules before landing. Identifying the runway lights should help you during the transition.
yes. So what was I saying? yeah, if you haven't done the IFR missions, not missions, like instructions, instructional videos, whatever you call them, tutorials, that's the question. Um, Basically, then I would suggest going to do it. I am at 2100 feet. Why hasn't that clicked off? That's kicked off. Gonna keep going at this. Bit more sim rate. Reblobs now. Look at this fly. So we should be able to use approach mode above the glide path. It's not good. Quick, pull power. Again, there's a tutorial about approach mode, which basically is this is your guide slope. Why is on? Parts on, heading modes off. Should be trying to get us down to there. Shouldn't be trying to hold. Turn that off. Oh. Oh, I'm going to fluff this up now because I'm too busy trying to do this. Right, we'll just turn the iPad off. We'll do it manually. There is a way to get the approach mode working, but I don't know what it is right now. It should work. Whether it's blocked because we're in VFO. That on, and then we'll do the approach mode on. See if that works. Throttle's stuck. We're way high of the guide loop. Let's pull power. It flaps. It's just trying to maintain altitude. I'll tell you what, let's just turn off. Let's do it manually. I tried to cheat. Meh. Nav mode on and approach mode. I wonder if that's it. That seems to be trying to pull us out of it. I don't know. See, it's put altitude mode up again. Don't want altitude mode on. Because I'm in approach. I don't want to hold altitude. I'm coming down. Oh, there you go. You can see the lights now anyway. We're high, but we're getting there. You see the blob. So basically the pink lines want to line up, and then the pink blob wants to be in the middle, and then you're on glide slope. Basically the plane's going to keep us left and right. Nicely. The throttle seems to be very sticky. I have to do this manually. But again, sim rate. I'm not adverse to doing sim rate on approach. I'll do anything to save a bit of time. Time is valuable. Pulling a bit of time, a bit of power. 0-1. The key thing is just to remember how much sim rate you've put on. I think that was too much. Right. Very low now. It's very windy. God's sake, it's not full power again. controller doesn't seem to want to do power in this now. Oh, that was an awful landing. That was not like butter. Well, I guess it's our instrument rating. Well, that's the instrument rating mission, basically. Turn next taxiway. I'm well past it. Oh, I'm gonna go off. Wow, this was a shocking mission, folks. Really not sure why this throttle isn't working, but I'm just gonna have to do it like this. Oh, so it works when I'm in this view. How strange. If I don't fail this, then that'll be a miracle. Also, the acknowledge handoff isn't working. Our performance is going to be shocking. But I'm not sure what you can do when, you know, it doesn't work. We'll see if we pass.
You passed the test.
No, we'll pass the
There's
test.
a few areas where you can improve, but that was a solid performance.
I'm presuming because the actual 100% that helped us, didn't it? No, we passed. No, we passed quite convincingly. It'll do. As I said when I took my exams, a pass is a pass, that's all that matters. Okay, so that's our IFR done. So, specialization. So let's tick that off. So we just need to do one more mission with the smoothest landing of 50%. So what I'll do, I think this video is getting a bit long, so I'll end this episode here, and in the next one we'll pick up where we left off. If you like the content, please like and subscribe. Thank you very much.